there. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite nerd who needs to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. Favorite nerd. Today we are looking at the Star Wars Black Series, Landspeeder, and Luke Skywalker from their recent Force Friday release. This is on loan to me from Mr. Pinkerton, because that's what his mama named him, from the Realm of Collectors, which is a good website for podcasts and photos from the community and etc., etc. They have a show called Enter the Realm. It's part of the Cool Table Network. Great show, great guys, love them all dearly, and definitely worth a listen. Thank you, Chris, for letting me take a look at this. I had this in hand Force Friday, and I couldn't bring myself to pull the trigger for 60 bucks. We're going to talk about whether or not I made the right decision, but first we're going to talk with Luke Skywalker. So, this is the new Luke from the Pajama Jammy Jam days. Now, he comes with a hat. The hat is done well enough, sculpted well. You got black, silver, and blue paint on the goggles, so that all works. The head sculpt is much better. Still not perfect, but much better. Much better. And I don't have the other Black Series Luke any longer, but there is the SH Figuarts. So SH Figuarts is still better, as it should be for the price point, but the Black Series has definitely stepped its game up from the last Luke release. Comes with the poncho, which is a silver piece of soft goods. In order to remove it, you just take the head. I don't think you can get it. Maybe you can. I don't want to put any wear and tear on it, but you just pop the head off, and it'll come right off, so to speak. We got the two different colors on there. It looks good. It looks appropriate. The articulation's still the same. Ball hinge for the head. Get you down to there, up to there, and the swivel. No issues whatsoever. We have the Pajama Jammy Jam look underneath, which is still just is what it is. Skinny little arms. We got a ball hinge for a shoulder, get you all the way up. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. I've been hearing people doing customs where they've been taking the arms off the Pajama Jammy Jam Luke and putting it on to female characters from Star Wars that have open arms, like the Leia, for instance, to get that double hinged elbow. So that's pretty cool. Down to here, swivels all the way around. Wrist swivel, you get a swivel also at the bicep swivel, which it does have also, which is nice. Wrist swivel, hinge in, out. Two holding hands. Same for the other side, and the hinge is in, out for this hand as well. We have a single ball peg for the abdomen. A diaphragm joint, works really well. We have the belt here, which is all sculpted well, washed and painted with silver, gold, and black details. That looks good. T-jointed ball joints for hips, a little bit limited, out to here. Nice sculpt work, though, and the wrinkles in the pants and such. Thigh swivel, forward and back to there. I think his calves might be backward as well. I think this one needs to go over there and that one goes over there, but I can't tell. And now, but you see how it's like warped a bit? I don't know. I can't tell, and I might just be extra sensitive to it because my Thrawn was messed up. Or maybe this whole... Yeah, I can't tell. So, something to think about. The bandages here are all sculpted well and washed. It looks like possibly even dry brushed, especially down at the bottom. The feet are definitely washed with a nice brown over top of the tan. Ankle tilt up to there, down to there, and the rocker. So all of that works well. A much better Luke. Arguably what we should have got in the beginning, right? So let's talk about his other accessories. We have the binoculars, where he can see the Tusken Raiders or the native Tatooiners, as it were. And this has the little clip here, so you can clip that onto his belt if you so prefer. I'm not going to waste my time with it. You know what to do. And then we have the lightsaber. I don't know if this blade comes out. Feels like it should, but I'm not going to pull too hard. It does swivel, and there is a belt loop for it, but the blade seems pretty stuck in there. It doesn't belong to me, so I'm not comfortable taking a whole lot of extra force to it. It is silver paint here and a little red accent there, a very light blue blade, which is not my favorite, but it's a thing. And then we have his rifle with, it's sculpted well enough, and then we have some silver detailings down throughout to give it some depth and stuff. So overall, the figure is pretty well executed. It's just, you know, the frustration of, you know, getting the figure that you deserve a little bit later down the line with a vehicle that costs you an additional 40 bucks, right? Now, unfortunately, I had to go back and reshoot this. But I'm not going to reshoot all of it. I just had to reshoot the intro. So, what we did here, and he has this little clip here, I didn't mention this either, that can hold his blaster, or like his rifle. What I did here was I took this off, which is the translucent plastic windshield, and I took it off so that we could look at it in better detail. And I forgot to put it back on at every turn in this video, including the pictures that I took afterward. So I apologize for that, but just so you know, it does come with this. The nice thing is you can take it on and off. It helps with putting the figures in there and such. Just clips right in with tension on the sides. And I know that sorry is no excuse for poor performance, so I'm going to pay my penance right now.
On your daughter's birthday?
I know.
Let me see him.
Lot of paint. A lot of paint, and the paint looks really good. Comes with this display stage here. As a heads up, there is something gunked up in there. We couldn't tell what that was when we were looking through it. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. It's up in there. And the peg and port didn't work quite right either, because this was hexagonal and this was circular. So he took a Dremel to this, and now it sits with no problem. But we did have issues out of the box. So, with that being said, let's talk about the paint and stuff, and then we'll talk about the features. So it looks like we have an airbrush burst of black down here at the front, which looks really good. Silver paint in here, and it looks like possibly a wash, or it could just be an airbrush, the same airbrush burst leaking down. We have the flat... I wonder if it's this... No, it can't be. It's gotta be this lighter color with the darker color painted on all the... design, which is really sharp. Then we have some dry brushing silver on this damaged piece down here, which works. Nothing on this piece, which ends up making it look a bit out of place. Dry brush brown on the seats, which I guess works, but looks a little messy. From afar, it won't bother you. I don't think it came with any stickers. If so, it didn't. I don't see them in the box. But they would go on here, hopefully, in these little sections here. And then we have some silver accents down in here. The steering wheel does not turn, and neither does the stick shift, so to speak. We have tons of paint up in here, and we have this like grayish, blackish accent painted on here and on here, which looks really good. And it has like some airbrushing done with it as well. Like it fades out here, and then there's like, it looks like a blast there and over here and down there. Lots of sculpted line work throughout all the panels and such. And all these wires, yeah, they're all painted either silver, this blue, or the red. Back of it, this is sculpted, but no paint was given to it. A quick dry brush silver will probably fix that and look quite good. And then we have this blotch silver paint, which I do hate. This is supposed to signify wear and tear to the vehicle. This is something they've been doing for a long time. As a matter of fact, I brought out my old school one. I think this might have been Power of the Force. Let's see if it's dated. 95. So yes, definitely is. And they do the same silver technique there. It doesn't look any better here than it does there. It doesn't look any more believable here than it does there. It just doesn't work. And then we have the features, right? Oh, we have some yellow paint up in there, and yellow paint's hard to do, and they did it well. And then the red wires are painted, and it looks like one of those blue wires or silver wires is painted as well. So yeah, a lot of paint. Most of it done well, some of it done a little sketchy. The hood opens up. Tons of sculpted detail. Not a whole lot of paint, but there is some in there, some silver accents. A couple wires are painted red. The same, detailing as they show here, show there. So that all is fine. This should swivel. Yep, sure does. And the silver bit under here, I don't know if that's the actual, I don't know if that's the transmission. I don't know. Close that up. And we have these two things, which is like, I can't remember the old school Kenner had this one as well, but these two open up. You got like a little compartment there, and then you have like just some extra sculpted details, some really sharp gold paint sitting down there on that pipe, so to speak. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just a matter of whether or not you feel as though it is worth it for the price. And at 40 bucks, I feel like it is worth it, but they throw in the extra figure, but they don't really throw it in, do they? It's like you're paying the $20 for the additional figure that you've probably already bought that wasn't released well. So you have to buy the updated version, which is much better, and the... Sorry. Sometimes I get passionate, sometimes I get upset. Vehicle for a total of 60 bucks. And that's where trouble comes into paradise. Final thoughts wise, I think it's pretty great. The problem is the price. But I think let's talk about the negatives, and that's really this silver blotched paint and the fact that you had to buy that Luke again, which is a bummer. But that's really the only negatives. The other negative is the price, and the price really only hurts if you already have the Luke. If you don't have a Luke, then there's no problem. And we have some nice dry brushing or wash going on in that hair. It looks really good as well. But otherwise, it doesn't really. It doesn't like it. So let's talk about the positives, okay? Because there's far more positives. The only negative is the price. The price is mainly due to this extra figure, which is already a negative. So that's already the Achilles heel of this set, right? So let's talk about the positives. Tons of paint, tons of sculpt, accurate, looks good. Sets you could put, like, if you angle, this is 3PO, I know you probably didn't recognize him on account of the red arm, but if you put the feet down, if you angle his feet straight down, you can even fit him, you know, it doesn't sit quite right, but one arm up on the thing, and like it kind of does the job. You put R2 on the other side, you could probably put Ben Kenobi in there. I'm not getting him down, but yeah, like, it does everything it's supposed to do. It's just it does one of those things a second time for a release that already wasn't done right, and that's where the frustrating part comes in. Do I recommend it? It's hard for me to recommend it at 60 bucks unless you don't have a Luke. If you don't have a Luke, definitely a strong recommend from me. If you already have a Luke, like the Figuarts, or maybe you bought the 40th anniversary Luke, or what have you, it's hard for me to recommend this at 60 bucks. This Landspeeder doesn't feel like 60 bucks. It feels like 40 bucks. 40 bucks is a great price. Usually this stuff ends up going on sale, the more expensive Star Wars stuff. So but it depends. Like, you know, Star Wars stuff, you just never know, and then you'll be blaming me for not being able to find it down the line. So I would say, look, if you're a Landspeeder, if you're like, man, Landspeeder is my favorite vehicle of all time, you'll be happy with this. If you're kind of like, man, it'd be nice to have, wait for it to go on sale, or if you can buy it on the secondary market used or something, because it's just an awful lot to swallow for 60 bucks. So that is really the price point that gets in this thing's way, and it's the price point due to that fella there, I would imagine. But he is a better Luke, so if you don't have one, he's a nice one. Or if you want to update and you don't want to get the Figuarts, I don't know why you would want to do that, but if that's the way you want to roll, you know, he's a much better option, and then it makes the entire purchase more worthwhile. I know there's a lot of information there that's kind of conflicting, and I get it. I hope you kind of understand the perspective from which I'm coming at, and thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Till next time, take care.